This is Colleen Lemma, Starseed Astrologer and Spiritual Messenger from SacredSoulEmpowerment.com. Here to do your weekly angel card reading for Monday, September 8th through Sunday, September 15th, 2019. For this week's weekly reading, we'll be using the Angel Tarot deck by Radley Valentine for the main message for everyone. And your special message card this week, depending on your stone of choice, will be coming from the Black Moon Astrology cards by Susan Shepard. Just a reminder that we're into a brand new month and a brand new energy, and this is a huge and powerful month, a turning point month. So you'll want to make sure to watch my monthly angel card reading on my YouTube channel to get the big overview of everything that's happening this month. So let's start by taking a look at our stones of choice. Our first stone of choice is shungite. And shungite is this reflective, silvery kind of stone. It reminds me a lot of hematite with that reflective kind of gray silver quality to it. But the shungite, the qualities are balancing the mind and the emotions. And since we're in Virgo season, sometimes Virgo can get caught up in the head a little bit with their thoughts. So balancing the mind and emotions are going to be a great thing to do. This is also a stone of detoxification and purification, usually of the body, of the physical body, but also the emotional body and the mental body. And the shungite is a stone of transformation. The second stone of choice is this pink kunzite. Let's see if I can get a hold of it here. I'm going to turn it over. The pink kunzite. So this is a very beautiful, soft, feminine feeling stone, and the qualities of the pink kunzite helps to bring in a sense of confidence in oneself. It helps one to restore trust, both in themselves and in others. And it brings in the energies of compassion and unconditional love, again, both of self and others. And then the last stone of choice is this green emerald. The emerald has a nice calming, balancing effect to it. This is a stone of unity, bringing in that unity consciousness. It helps with positive actions. And this is also a stone of loyalty and trust within relationships. So again, your stones of choice for the week are the shungite, the pink kunzite, or the emerald. So let's go ahead and take a look at the astrology of the week. There's a lot going on this week, just like there was last week. A lot happening in this Virgo season here in September. And we start on Monday the 9th with Mars, the planet of energy and action and forward movement, in a positive connection to Saturn. Saturn's the planet of structure and form, karmic lessons, and stability, and it does rule the third dimensional world as well as time. So now Mars is in Virgo. That's an earth sign. Saturn's in Capricorn. Capricorn's an earth sign. So there's a lot of focus here on the earthly ideas and earthly situations that are going on in our lives. And because this is a positive connection and Mars likes to move forward and take actions, Virgo likes to pay attention to the details. So as Mars is in Virgo right now, we're able to act on a lot of things at the same time and take care of a lot. This is about doing a lot, wearing many hats, having a lot of tasks and projects that we're working on. And with this positive aspect to Saturn in the beginning of the week, we can really accomplish a lot. So utilize this energy. I'm going to say even on Sunday, which was last week's video, but Sunday the 8th, Monday the 9th, really utilize this aspect between Mars and Saturn to focus your energies, do a lot at the same time, wearing many hats and trying to work on many projects or have your hand in many situations all at once, and start to bring things into manifestation, start to bring things into form. Saturn is about goals and it's about our career. So here we have, again, a lot of things that are able to be accomplished with Mars and Saturn coming together. Now, by the time we get to Tuesday, the very next day, Tuesday the 10th, we have the Sun in Virgo and it's opposing Neptune in Pisces. Now, Neptune is the planet of the spiritual realm, but it does rule things that are intangible or unseen, which is what the spiritual realm is all about. So here we have, the sun wanting to pay attention to all these details and tasks and things that need to get done and highlight those things, with the sun being in Virgo, but it's opposing Neptune. So Neptune has this elusive or illusionary, confusing, things aren't clear kind of quality to it. So this is why I say to utilize that Mars-Saturn as best you can the beginning of the week, because by the time we get to Tuesday, things might be a little bit more confusing, or we're not able to focus quite as well, or we get lost in all the details, or there's too many things that we're trying to work on or focus on at once. And now Neptune is great for things that are spiritual, or where we're using our creativity, or we're using our imagination. So if the things and projects that we're working on has that creative or imagination kind of flair, then we'll be fine. But if it's more about practical, down-to-earth tasks, and we need to be able to focus really well, might be a little bit more difficult. On Thursday the 12th, we have Mars, again in Virgo, and now it's challenging Jupiter in Sagittarius. Now, we already said that Mars is the planet of energy, action, and forward movement. Jupiter rules the expansion principle. It does rule blessings, prosperity, and abundance, but it also rules our belief systems. And because this is a challenging aspect, I think that we can get caught up in the Virgo self-critical thinking and communication, or we can get caught up in the Sagittarius, judgment energy, or expanding things into the negative, because again, it's a challenging aspect. So here we're trying to take care of a lot of things, but we might start to feel overwhelmed, is what I'm thinking too. So, be careful with feeling overwhelmed or trying to take on or do too many things, or again, self-critical actions or words, or having that self-judgmental kind of attitude with Mars challenging Jupiter. So, a lot of Virgo energy. Of course, we're in Virgo season here. Just to kind of reiterate, we have the sun is in Virgo, Mercury is in Virgo, Venus is in Virgo, Mars is in Virgo. This is all the personal planets ruling our day-to-day activities in life in this detail-oriented, service-oriented kind of sign. So there's a lot going on right now as far as tasks and projects that need to be done, or things that we're working towards or working on. All of this energy so far that we've talked about is building up to Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th, there's a full moon at 21 degrees Pisces, and this is considered the harvest moon. We're in the time of the harvest. Things are coming to a head, and we're able to reap the benefits of what we've sown, the efforts that we've put out. We can start to reap those. But Pisces, remember, is the last sign of the zodiac. And so there's an energy of completion here. It's a completion phase. Plus, Pisces is a water sign, and so therefore very emotional, very intuitive too, very healing oriented. But, any full moon, our emotional energies start to become intensified and things come to a head. Our emotional buttons can get pushed more easily. And especially with this full moon being in Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac, it occurs at 21 degrees of Pisces. If you know that you have any planets in or around that degree of Pisces, you're going to be mostly affected here. But again, we're going to be very tapped into the spiritual, becoming much more tapped into our intuitive and psychic and healing abilities, but also much more tapped into our emotional body and maybe more emotionally triggered. Now, right before the full moon happens, there is Mercury and Venus coming together in the sign of Virgo. And Mercury rules the mind, our thoughts, our ideas, our communications. And Venus rules relationships and finances. So here again, we have a lot of detail-oriented energies surrounding those brainstorming of ideas that we're having about how to move forward or what we want to do. There's that detail-oriented energy, and maybe even, again, that self-critical, perfectionistic kind of energy that Virgo sometimes has within our relationships or money matters. Make sure that you're using the Virgo qualities to its most positive. We're using the Virgo energy for getting things done, paying attention to details, giving service to other people and using our powers of discernment and reading between the lines or reading what's underneath of things, really understanding things, analyzing things, intellectualizing things. These are all the gifts of Virgo. Also, before that full moon, the sun is in a positive connection to Pluto. Now, the sun rules our identity. It's how we shine our light. It's right now, again, in Virgo, taking care of all these tasks and being of service to other people. Pluto is the planet of power and control, death and rebirth, transformation, regeneration, transmutation. So I feel like we can feel empowered at this time, but because the full moon is also on this day, and even though it's a positive connection between the sun and Pluto, I want to say be careful with power plays or power and control issues with other people. Own your power, take back your power, and empower yourselves, and use your power wisely when it comes to situations and circumstances. Now, on Friday or Saturday, depending on what part of the world you're in, Mars is opposing Neptune. Again, Mars is about action, and Neptune is about illusion and confusion, or again, things unseen or intangible, because it rules the spiritual realm. So I feel like, number one, our physical energy might be a little bit low at this time. Our physical vitality is a little low. Also, the projects and tasks that we're working on, we might get caught in this confusing kind of energy or trying to do too much and have ourselves spread too thin. And so we're losing kind of the follow through that we need to get something done. Or we're getting, again, confused or redirected somehow without maybe even knowing it. Now the full moon, back to the full moon. This also occurs on Friday or Saturday, depending on what part of the world you're in. And all of these energies so far that we've talked about are building up to this full moon. Again, Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. It's a sign of completion. This is a completion of a cycle. And it's, it's very important, I want to say, to do as much physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual healing as you possibly can, because of all the Virgo energy that we're in. Virgo kind of rules more of the physical and even the mental body, and Pisces, where this full moon is, definitely the spiritual, but again, any of the water signs, like Pisces, is also very emotional. So we're healing on all different levels, and this is a huge circumstance, situation of evolution and healing for your soul. Again, a completion phase. And if you want to know more about this, I talk about this in a much more extended way in my monthly angel card reading video for September, where we talk about going all the way back to April, energies that have pulled us back into the past, repeating old past karmic patterns or relationships or situations, energies to where we've been needing to learn something or needing to resolve something from a this or past life karmic perspective. And so as we move now into this full moon, this harvest moon at 21 degrees Pisces, this is kind of the completion of that cycle that we've been in since about April, or maybe even before April of this year. So again, if you want the full explanation and picture of that, watch that monthly video. On Saturday the 14th, we have Mercury, planet of the mind, the messenger planet, and Venus, the ruler of the divine feminine, relationships as well as finances. Both of those planets are now moving into Libra. So they're transitioning out of Virgo. This is the beginning of our transition from Virgo into Libra. Later in the month, the sun will move into Libra, and then it won't be until October until Mars moves into Libra. But at least here, right after the full moon, we start to have some relief and downtime from all the busyness and all the activities and all the details that we've needed to pay attention to, and tasks and projects that we've needed to complete or put our time, energy, and focus on. So, Libra is the sign of the scales. It's the sign of balance. So I feel like our mind starts to feel more balanced. Our heart, if you will, with Venus ruling, that feminine love kind of energy. So our heart chakra starts to feel more balanced. We start to focus more on relationship matters, compromise, equality, things that are equal, between you and other people in your life. it just becomes more of a time where justice, if you want to say justice, is served. I always think about Libra, and the scales of justice. So right after this completion full moon, it's like the scales of justice karmically have come in and starts to balance things out for us. So let's go ahead and take a look at the message from our angels and guides here. And as we turn over the first card for the week, we have the Four of Earth. This is like the Four of Pentacles, the Four of Discs in the traditional tarot. And the number 4 is a very stable number. This is about stability, security. If you think about a box that has 4 corners, it's very solid and stable and secure as it sits on the ground. It doesn't rock or fall over. That Pentacle suit deals with career matters, financial matters, matters to deal with property, living situation. Again, the details of day-to-day life is what the earth suit or pentacle suit rules. So here we're talking about stability within those matters. Now the message at the bottom says, being too frivolous or too cautious with money, good business decisions, and then it says giving to those less fortunate. So I feel like, I think about the Mars in a positive connection or a trine connection to Saturn on Monday. This to me exemplifies that energy to where we're bringing things into structure in our lives. We're bringing things into a manifested form. We're focusing our energies and working on something. And just as it says, we could be too cautious here. Sometimes Saturn is a little bit restrictive and limiting. And Mars again wants to move forward, although it's going to be a little bit more cautious as it's in the sign of Virgo anyway. So we might be holding back a little bit too much, where we need to maybe be a little bit more loose with our actions or take a little bit more of a risk. I'm not saying to be too much of a risk taker with Mars and Saturn, but yet we don't want to be too constricting or limiting either. This is really a time again to focus your efforts on what it is that you want to accomplish. Focus your efforts on what needs to be organized. All this earth suit is about organization, work, focus, effort, perseverance, determination. All of these things are exemplified with this particular card here. Now let's take a look at the next card. Now the next card, 2 cards came out when I was drawing the cards. So we're going to look at the first of those 2. And we have the 7 of Water. Okay, this is like the 7 of Cups in the traditional tarot, which is usually about confusing emotions or having many choices that we could be making and being unclear or confused as to which choice might be the right choice. And again, it's on an emotional level. So whatever this is, it brings in the emotions. And so this isn't a surprise to see this card because again, we're building up to this full moon in Pisces this week. Now the message at the bottom says a complex decision, the need to do research, stop procrastinating. Now it has a lot of Virgo quality terms in here when it says a complex decision. I think of the Virgo energy, and Virgo's all about analyzing what's the best solution, thinking about things from a logical perspective. So here we have this complex decision that may need to be made. And then it says the need to do research. Virgos love to do research. Virgos love to gain information, gather information, do all the research that they need to find out exactly what they need to. This is why it's such a great detail-oriented sign here. And this is the same as the number 7. The 7 has that quality too, being very analytical, very precise, very contemplative, very research-oriented, etc. But remember, this is also bringing in the emotions, the emotional body. So it's not just the mental body that we're talking about. We're also talking about the emotional body here because it's the Water card. So again, I feel like our emotions, there could be some confusion on an emotional level. There might be, again, we might feel emotionally tied to a situation, circumstance, relationship, and we're confused about which way to go, what decision to make. So again, it switches very quickly from that 4 of Earth of feeling very focused and task-oriented to now the 7 of Water, where we start to, become overwhelmed or confused with all these different choices that we could make, or what decision is the right decision. We have all these cups here in the Water, and each cup has a different light associated with it. And actually, this is the color of the chakras. So, you know, are we looking at being confused about money matters, which could be the red one? Are we confused about our sense of power, which is the yellow one? Are we confused about our emotions within a relationship, which could be the green one? So each color relating to a chakra has confusion tied up around it with different things going on. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the next card, or the card that came out with that. Okay, we have Major Arcana number 13. This is called Release in this deck. In the traditional tarot deck, this is the Death card. Now, this is talking about death and rebirth energies, not necessarily from a physical perspective, although there could be transition, physical transition, especially with this full moon in the sign of Pisces, the completion sign. But this is more symbolic, okay? I want to say that up front. This is definitely more of a symbolic death, a death and rebirth, releasing something and letting something go. As I said, this full moon is a completion of some sort of longer karmic cycle that we're going through, where we're releasing old belief systems, old energy patterns, karmic patterns from this and previous lifetimes, etc. So there's a death and a rebirth that's taking place here. This is ruled by Archangel Azrael, and she's the archangel that helps souls to transition from one plane of reality to another, but she can also help souls transition out of one energy into another energy. She's also the archangel that helps with grief. It helps us to grieve, releasing those situations or circumstances that we have to let go of in order to rebirth ourselves into something new. Now, this particular card says at the bottom, the end of a phase or situation. Definitely, the end of a phase or situation. And then it says spiritual transformation, time to move on. So this could be quite literal, again, with a circumstance, situation, relationship matter, etc. Maybe you're moving from one place to another. Maybe you're changing careers. Maybe you're leaving a relationship, friendship, romance that's not working anymore. But this can also definitely be about energies within yourself. You're releasing old emotions. You're releasing old response patterns. You're releasing old karmic patterns. You're releasing old belief systems. You're releasing old trauma physically from your physical body, from the cells in your body. So this can be explained in many, many different ways. But again, this to me exemplifies this full moon, the harvest moon at 21 degrees Pisces. And again, this larger idea of a completion phase that we are all as souls going through so that we can evolve to the next level. Now, let's take a look at the last card here. And the last card is the Six of Air. So this is a very nice and positive card, the Six of Air. This is like the Six of Swords in the traditional tarot. The number 6 is about balance, as above, so below. And it says at the bottom, things are looking up, the end of a difficult situation, taking a trip. Now, just as I said, right after the full moon and on Saturday, Mercury and Venus moves into Libra, things start to feel a little bit more balanced from the prior days of this week where we were building up to that full moon in Pisces. So now, again, things are looking up, things are looking brighter, things are looking more positive. We start to feel more balanced in our minds, in our hearts, in our soul. It's the end of a difficult situation. That could be quite literal, but also, again, the end of a phase for the evolution and growth of our soul. What have you learned in the past few months? What have you released in the past few months as far as energies within you, belief systems within you that you no longer need to carry? And that's part of the learning process. This is a gift. This time right now, this completion phase is a gift for all of us. All right, let's go ahead. Oh, they're also saying that this could be, we have a unicorn here, or I don't know if it's a unicorn or a horse or a Pegasus, but it's in a boat. And as it says, taking a trip. So now that could be, again, quite literal. Maybe you're taking a trip, but what I heard was that you're moving forward. There's something about you're moving forward. Maybe you're moving into a new career or job. Maybe you're moving into a new relationship. Maybe you're moving into a new home or across the country. Or you're just moving into a new energy within yourself. Okay? All right, so let's take a look at the special message card depending on your stone of choice. So for those of you that chose the Shungite. This one's calling my attention, Shungite people. This is the 9th house, and it says faith. Now, the 9th house is about higher learning. It's about our belief systems, and it is about faith and trust. It's ruled by, or Sagittarius is the sign that rules the 9th house. So Sagittarius, faith and trust. Sagittarius, higher learning. Sagittarius, seeing the big picture. Sagittarius, travel, expanding your mind, and redirecting your belief systems, taking a look at and becoming aware of your belief systems and changing them where necessary. So there's a lot here going on here with that. Again, it rules travel, which can be either physical travel or, again, spiritual travel, or just traveling to a new energy, so to speak. I'm looking at the image on this card, and we have a hand here. It's almost like palmistry, reading the palms of one hand, and there's all the different lines of the palm that means different things. And to me, it reflects education or learning something new or becoming aware of different aspects or perspectives. The 9th house is great for that too, needing to look at things from a different perspective, needing to see things differently, expanding your mind, learning something new, being a student, but also being a teacher. And then there's a Ouija board up here, interestingly enough. And so messages from, they're saying the higher mind, which to me is like your higher self, your higher soul self, the higher mind, or you could even say the God mind. So messages coming from beyond your logical mind, beyond your physical mind, beyond what we call the lower mind. So again, listen to messages from a higher source, and whether that's through meditation and getting in touch with your own higher self, and then listening to what the messages are from your soul self, your higher self, or again from your angels and guides. Any higher message is what you want to tap into. This is what you, not necessarily what we think of when we think of the Ouija board, but we're talking definitely about the higher messages, higher angelic universal messages coming in. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the special message for the pink kunzite people. Give this a little bit of a shuffle. Okay, so this one's been catching my eye for pink kunzite. We have Aquarius and I know. Now, Aquarius is great for opening up the crown chakra and utilizing the psychic ability of claircognizance, just knowing something to be, not necessarily knowing how you know it. That's where you have to let go of logic and just trust and have faith that whatever it is you just know with a vengeance, you just know something to be right, you know something to be true, maybe for yourself, maybe for someone else. But that Aquarius is that gift of claircognizance, which is a psychic ability of opening up the crown chakra and letting the divine information, the messages or information from divine source God, to just kind of flow through you, to flow into you, to be made aware to you. Aquarius is the sign of the humanitarian. Aquarius is the sign of someone who is service-oriented for humanity, connecting with other people of like mind who have similar goals that want to help the planet in some way. So all of these energies are somehow affecting you this week. So focus on, or maybe even read more about what that Aquarius energy is all about. Some of the keywords for Aquarius I gave you, but I'm sure there's many, many more that you could look up and see what resonates for you. But again, this is like a lightning bolt of information too. This is like that download, that flash of insight, that knowingness. But it's like that lightning bolt of Aquarius information that just kind of psychically comes in. All right, and then for those of you that chose the emerald, let's give this a shuffle. We're asking for the emerald message. And this one actually is calling my attention. Emerald people. Yod, destiny. Now, the Yod is actually a planetary pattern between planets in someone's chart, and I won't get into the specifics of what exactly that is. But the Yod aspect, again, it's a configuration with 3 planets, and the Yod actually is considered a destiny planetary configuration. I guess that's the best way to put it. It's a planetary configuration in one's chart that is about destiny, something that's destined to be. And actually they show you the yod right here, okay? It's what's considered two quincunxes and a sextile, okay? So for those of you that know astrology at all, you'll understand what that means. But that is like the hand of God here. This is like the hand of God saying, you know, as these two planets are connected, but here they're coming to a point. It's like the hand of God is pointing to something that's destined, something that's fated. So whatever's happening this week for you, they're saying some of it can be, you know, it's destined or fated, that you're completing some sort of cycle, that you're done, you're over, the karmic scales are coming back into balance. You don't have to repeat those patterns anymore. You don't have to repeat those situations anymore. That's one way to look at it. There could also be some sort of event or situation or chance meeting that is destined to be also, or fated or meant to be this week. So become aware that this week that there's something fated happening for you. There's something destined happening for you this week. Okay, so I hope you've all liked this weekly angel card reading. Again, I wish you all happy full moon energies and time of completion for processes that your soul is going through. Thank you so much for your love, your support, your messages, your comments on my videos, for sharing my videos, signing up on my channel. For those of you that follow me on Facebook or that have checked out my new website, thank you so much for the support that you've been giving me in various ways and the comments that you're sending, your comments of love. I send you many angel blessings in this week and in this month, and I send you lots of love and light.